Valentine card number 3. This is another My Favorite Things countdown card. I thought while I'm making all these cards, I might as well film as many of them as possible because I'm all about the multitasking and getting as much done as possible. So I used this is the Staggered Heart Border Dynamics, and I just die cut several different colors of cardstock. And then I die cut a piece of black cardstock with the Dimensional Banner Dynamics, one of them anyway, it's a set of 4. And I use my embossing buddy on that. It just puts a little bit of powder on, kind of like a talc powder, just to keep the embossing powder from sticking to areas where it shouldn't. And then I inked up the stamp from the Distressed Heart set with some Sweet Tooth pigment ink. Any pigment ink will do, or a Versamark, just anything that takes a little longer to dry so that the embossing powder can stick to it. And as always, I use my coffee filters to hold the powder when I pour it over my images. I just find those work perfectly because then I can funnel the powder back into it. I can reuse them quite a few times, and then they're biodegradable, so just kind of a little extra. So once I've got the embossing powder melted with my heat tool, I'm just going to set that aside to cool off, which only takes a couple seconds. And then my card base is just some Sweet Tooth cardstock that I cut lengthwise so that the fold is at the top. It's your standard A2 size card, so 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. And then I always use my fingers to wipe off any powder residue when I'm done embossing, especially on higher contrast cardstocks like red, black, etc., etc. Just because the embossing buddy usually leaves like that white residue. So just wipe that off, and then that die actually scores the little folding lines when die cuts, so you can quickly and easily fold it so you get those little flag ends on it. So cute. And then my idea with this card was to keep it really simple, just use the die cut hearts as the focus, and I wanted it to be just a white, crisp, and clean, and kind of look like the hearts were kind of falling down along the edge. So I kind of figured out how I wanted them to go, and then just started adhering them down with my Tombow Mono Multi, so just little dabs of glue here and there. And as always, not too much glue because you do not want it oozing out everywhere. And then for a little bit more contrast, I used dimensionals on some of the hearts so that they're popped up. So you could skip this step if you wanted this card to stay super flat for mailing, but I really like adding that little extra dimension. And then some of my dimensionals, I just trimmed them down a lot so that I could even pop up some of these outline hearts on dimensionals, because that just gives it a little extra wow factor in my opinion. So yeah, I just kept adhering the hearts at random until I was happy with the little configuration I had going there. So just sticking them down, and then finally, I knew I was missing at least one, so I just put a couple more in place. And I'm using Cotton Candy Razzleberry, which is the dark pink and one of my favorite colors, Black Licorice cardstock, Spearmint, which is the new green, and Grout Gray, which is another new favorite of mine. So anyway, with these dimensional banners, you can choose to not adhere those parts together so it pops up quite a bit, which is really cool, or you can adhere them together so it lays a lot flatter, which is what I decided to do for this card, because I wanted the banner to lay fairly flat so that the hearts that were popped up on dimensionals stuck out a little bit more. So once I was happy with that all adhered together, I adhered it to my card front. And that's all there was to it for the outside. And then on the inside, I used, it was the same Staggered Heart border, but I used the die that was the full like connected border die, and die cut some Spearmint cardstock. And then I inked up another stamp from the Distressed Heart set, the XOXOXO, and inked that up with Black Licorice ink, and then flipped it around to make sure it started with the X, because otherwise it would look really weird if it was like OXO. So stamp that along the bottom of the card, and then I used my Tombow Mono Multi to adhere the little spearmint green border. And then I still had a few hearts left over, as you can see from all the pieces I'd cut for the front, so they fit perfectly within the border as well. So I just took a few different colors and adhered those into place. And yeah, that's all there was to it. So there will be a link directly below this video that leads right to my blog post with all the info about the products used today and the release and everything else, as well as links to all the supplies used. So thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing and liking my videos. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!